This week, few, if any, can afford to age in place, and here's why.
Building relationships is the way Mutual of Omaha has grown into one of the leading financial services companies in the world. Our reverse mortgage wholesale division is proud to carry on this 100-plus year tradition. To your borrowers, a reverse mortgage is more than a transaction. It's a promise of a better, more stress-free life. Our goal is to provide you, our valued client, with the best service and support possible so you can focus on helping your borrowers achieve the retirement of their dreams.
Welcome back to the Industry Leader Update. The data is in, and it reveals increasingly older Americans are struggling to cover their housing expenses as the cost of everyday goods and services remains 20% higher than it was in 2019. But before we continue, please press the like button and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out, and I appreciate your support. Now back to it. While the pace of inflation has slowed, the new cost of living is further eroding the ability of older adults to age in place. In a recent MarketWatch column, Jessica Hall writes, "Most older adults can't afford to juggle the cost of housing and long-term care. Most people want to age in place, but that goal is out of reach for almost everyone." In addition to long-term care costs, housing costs also often place a burden on older adults. In 2021, an all-time high of nearly 11.2 million older adults were cost burdened, and that means they spend more than 30% of their income on housing, that according to the Joint Center for Housing Studies. So how many older Americans can in fact afford the services and care that's needed to age in place? Not many. Samara Scheckler, a research associate at Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Study, notes, when the cost of care is added to housing costs, only 14% of single people 75 and older can afford a daily visit from a paid caregiver, and just 13% can afford to move to assisted living. The median cost of assisted living today is about $4,500 a month, that according to Genworth. People want to live in their home for independence, but they still need resources and assistance and support to stay within those four walls. Even the fit of the home is important. Does it have a laundry room on the main floor, a bathroom? Both parts, care and housing, need to be put in place, but it's often out of economic reality for many. Now, a perfect storm is brewing as we see the clouds of financial stress of in-home care and also increasing housing costs converging for the older population of adults. Unfortunately, this crisis will worsen due to demographics. The U.S. population aged 65 and older increased by 34% in just the last decade, reaching 58 million in 2022. In the coming decade, the fastest growth will occur among those over 80, according to the Harvard Center. The burden of housing cost is being compounded by the increasing percentage of older Americans who are also still carrying a mortgage. Some 41% of homeowners aged 65 to 79 had a mortgage in 2022, compared with only 24% in 1989. And more than 30% of homeowners aged 80 and over are also still carrying a mortgage, and that's up from just 3% decades ago, according to the Harvard Center. With a mortgage, the older adult is burdened with debt and later in life at a time when their income may be constrained. In conclusion, fewer older Americans can afford to age in place, and that further elevates the importance of the ability of those homeowners to access their home equity, but in a way that does not increase their monthly obligations and further constrain their monthly cash flow. Now, what are your thoughts and experiences in the field when it comes to those that you meet who need long-term care or some support to age in place but can't afford it? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Also, please share this video on LinkedIn. I thank those of you that are doing that each week. And don't forget, we have a YouTube channel where you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you never miss an upcoming episode. And we bring you the reverse mortgage news each and every Monday in both an audio and video format, Heckham World Weekly. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, on Podbean, and of course here at Heckham World, and you can find our video podcast on Heckham World and on YouTube as well. Thanks again for joining us, and be sure to return next Monday for more reverse mortgage news, commentary, and analysis you'll only find here at Heckham World.